that pull comps from the MLS. The most accurate comps you will get will be from the MLS. Now, your seller questionnaire. You figured out the Mayo formula. You know how much you should pay for the property and so on. Now you got to know what questions you need to ask the seller when you get them on the phone. And you got to practice. This whole business is all about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So you can practice how to talk to sellers. And you can do that just by going out on the different directory sites and calling sellers up who have houses that's for sale by owner and acting as if you're going to buy their property. Using your seller questionnaire, you do your formula. You practice your craft. You get to learn if you're doing this right. That's how you're going to get good at this business. So you can go to sites like forsalebyowner.com, Craigslist.com, Zillow, and other sites that have houses that's for sale by owner, and call those owners up and use your selling script, your script that you use when you question the seller, and ask them if they're interested in selling their property, because they already said they wouldn't be for sale by owner if they wasn't. So that's a no-brainer. You already have people that are interested in it. Now it's just a matter of getting that person or you practicing your craft so you get good at it. Go right ahead. Go ahead, Malik. Do I get my assignment fee at closing? Say it again. Yeah, when do I get my assignment fee? I get my assignment. Now, there's two parts to the assignment fee. There's the earnest money deposit, and there's the actual assignment fee. This is all about knowledge. Your earnest money deposit, if the seller or if I'm the actual investor who's the wholesaler who's buying the property and I'm going to sell it to my buyer, if my buyer is willing to give me the earnest money deposit, I'm going to collect it.
So I'm selling you a property. Mm-hmm. I have done the contract.
Okay.
You say everything checks out you want. My assignment fee is $15,000. Right? Now, before I give you my actual contract, I have you sign the contract.
You're the seller.
I'm the wholesaler. Yes.
You're the wholesaler. And you want to, I'm a buyer of your contract. And you want me to give you $15,000. No, I'm just saying. Right. That's the equation we're talking about.
I say that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that eliminate the buyer, like you said, when you go all the way to the closing and then back it out?
Yes, it eliminates the buyer script. Because you're saying is your actual earnest money deposit is your assignment fee. Here's what's going to happen. As a buyer, I'm going to say, kiss my asset. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not going to take that much leverage of doing that situation. And I don't know most investors who are buying from you who will. But there's an exception to that. The exception is what? The unsophisticated buyer. The needle in the haystack. The person that don't know. So the person who don't know, he will say, okay, you want me to give you, okay. They'll say, okay, but I can't run my business on finding the person that don't know. I run it on what's the norm. And the norm will be, I'm not giving you $15,000 as an earnest money deposit. I'm going to give you, now, depending on the deal, I may do anything from $500 to $2,000. Yeah, depending on the deal. Now, where will that earnest money deposit be held at? More often than not, it's going to be held at my title company. Why? Because he who holds or he who controls the title company controls the money. That's why when we get into the part talking about title company, talking about how you sell, how do you get a deal sold in 10 days or less, we'll cover that part. But I just want to cover this real quick. This is the actual questionnaire you would use for your sellers. This is the same questionnaire that I've used for the last 15 years. And the reason why I love this actual questionnaire, because using this questionnaire will allow you to buy the house 10 different ways. And I'll show you the different strategies. And I'm going to give each and every one of you who stay here today this seller questionnaire. Yes.
The seller to get it under contract to wholesale it to somebody.
The question is, that gets into the negotiation side of it. Well, the easiest way of, and let's get into the marketing. I'll cover that in the marketing run. Now, marketing. This is where your money is made. The first part of your business that revolves after we've done all those things beforehand. Now, you saw all the things that have to be done before you even start marketing. This is what the gurus don't tell you. All of that has to be done, what I just got finished showing you, before you even start marketing. Now we're going to start marketing to make money. There's two things in this business that really matters. There's what's called an avatar. And what we call them in this business is marketing avatars. Number one is a motivated seller avatar. For example, Michael is between the age of 29 and 52. He lives out of state in Washington, D.C. He's a new landlord, owns less than 2 rentals, and he filed for eviction. Has a problem tenant. He's living in Baltimore, and the property's been vacant for 3 months. And if that wasn't enough, every night when he goes to bed, his wife tells you, I told you not to buy that property. That's why he's crying. That's what we call a motivated seller avatar. It's a motivated situation that will lead you to believe that if you can get to this person, there's an opportunity for a good deal. So what are the two avatars we're looking at? We're looking at motivated seller avatars and property avatars. Now let me explain what the two is. A motivated seller avatar, somebody that's in probate, somebody that has an inheritance, somebody that has a code enforcement violation, somebody that has tax lien foreclosure, somebody that's in pre-foreclosure, somebody that has failure to pay rent notices, somebody that's in bankruptcy, somebody that has a divorce filing, or somebody has a vacant property. Those are motivated seller situations. I can go further. Fire damage properties, and so on. You're looking at a motivated seller situation. These are going to be the best opportunities for you to close deals. These deals will give you the highest profit. Why? Because when a person is motivated to sell, they will give you deep discounts. They're looking for quick cash. So the motivated seller situation is what each and every one of you should look for. Where can I find a probate list? Where can I find inheritance? Where can I find code enforcement violation, tax lien foreclosures, and so on? Because these are my first line of offense when it comes to me marketing for deals. Now, the property avatar. You can still find deals in the property avatar, but the profits aren't as great as what we have, or it could be a longer situation to find that opportunity. Because there isn't motivation there. Just because the property owner is absent doesn't mean there's motivation. Just because a person lives in a house doesn't mean there's motivation. Just because somebody called you on a bandit sign doesn't mean it's motivation. Just because you did driving for dollars don't mean it's motivation. And just because it's a for sale by owner, that doesn't mean it's motivation. Property avatars will cost you the most marketing dollar because you got to do more of it to find the good deal. Because the motivated situation isn't there yet. So look at that. Two distinct avatars. One will make you wealthy. The second will make you wealthy, but it would take longer for that wealth to be realized. And you'll spend more money to get to it. So that's the first thing you want to look at, your marketing strategies. Am I going after motivated seller avatars, or am I going after property avatars? Any questions regarding this? Because this is huge. Yes. The question, how accurate is the daily record? I'm going to tell you guys this. The daily record is one of my favorite sources for motivated seller avatars. We do a tax lien strategy where we go after properties that's in tax sale foreclosure. And we go after those properties that's being foreclosed on. Oh, yes, we do. I have a website, the website access to it. I don't have it delivered, I have the website access to it. So yes, that's how we get our tax sale foreclosures. The Daily Record is a newspaper in Maryland that has the judicial filings for bankruptcy, foreclosure, divorce, you name it. You can find it in the Daily Record because it's what's called the publication of record for Maryland.
What have you found an efficient way of going through these? I've been doing a lot of cold calling on this last time.
I'm going to go over that. Great question, though. Any more questions regarding the avatars? Okay. This is your wholesale deal process part number 1. You're reaching out the owner contact. Now, the owner contact can happen from a number of ways. One of which it can be from direct mail. It can be from on the internet. It can be from calling an ad. But that's the first part of your process. The owner contacting you. Every business will have this as part of their process. The owner contacting you. Once the owner contacts you, you must use your seller questionnaire to get all the information from the owner. Once the owner contacts you, you want to do your due diligence. So you got all the questions answered. You got all that information. Thank you. Now you want to do your due diligence. How long should it take for you to do your due diligence? 2 hours or less. Once you've done all your due diligence, you go to step 3 of your process. Make an offer. I make offers on the phone. I close offers at the property. I'm going to say it again. I make and I teach my students to make offers on the phone. We close offers on the property. Don't let a guru tell you differently. Here's what's going to happen if you do something different. In other words, every time you get a call, you go look at a property, you will get burned out. You will think real estate don't work because 75% of the properties you go look at, you won't be able to buy. So if you go running after every property from a person that calls you, you will be burned out. So what we do, we negotiate the offer on the phone, and if our numbers is close to what the seller wants, then we go to the property. But if we're not close, we won't go to that property. We'll still leave the seller with an offer, and we'll follow up with that seller to see if they change their mind. Now, here's the exception to that rule. The exception to that rule is if the property is free and clear or there's very little mortgage balance on it. And if the property is free and clear, I go look at all those properties. If there's very little mortgage balance on them, we go look at all those properties. Why? Because the seller can take as little as we can give them because the property is free and clear. I can even structure a deal where I give the seller a full price offer and make money off of it. Is Kathy here? Here. Kathy, tell them about the strategy with the offer we talked about. For those of you who don't, Kathy is one of our mastermind students. Tell them about the deal.
So this winter we went and worked with Bill Fell to do this. We had a deal come to us, and the folks had wanted basically a full price offer. They were asking at the time $370, and the market in that neighborhood was about $450, so pretty much full price.
Now, 370 was the asking price, and the actual property sold for 450. Once you factor in closing costs and stuff, you're close to that 450. Now, you got to also factor in repairs. So now you're probably almost at that 450. So that's why I'm saying it's a full price offer. Go ahead.
Right. So the repairs on that particular property, it was a large property, it was about 2,400 square feet, was $80,000.
So 370 plus 80,000 is how much? That's a full price offer. Right there. Go ahead.
So I said to Charles, because I knew these people didn't have a mortgage, I said to Charles, I said, it doesn't look like a deal, but can it be a deal somehow?
And I started doing my happy dance. Oh, yeah. Here's what you got to do. Let's get Bill to call us. Bam, go ahead.
That's right. So Charles said, yeah, we need to talk to Bill Fell. So we went up and talked with Bill, and we structured an owner financing situation. So by the time we got everything situated, we got them down to $330,000.
But still, it was still 70,000 worth of repair, 80,000 worth of repairs, which made it 410.
Right.
When you only have a value of 450, factor in closing costs, you're above 450. So still, go ahead. Now, think about this. It was free and clear. She offered 310, still had 80,000 worth of repairs. She said 410. Structure financing. Go.
Structure financing. So at closing, we gave them $100,000.
They didn't give them the whole 410. We only gave them $100,000 at closing. Go ahead.
For 2 years, we're making monthly payments of $1,500. And at the 25th month, we'll make the balance of, I believe that's $235,000.
Okay, now look at this. You may probably say, okay, but where's the deal at? When you do the owner structured, what we call a purchase money note, is where you give the person $100,000 at closing, and you do the repairs, which is 80. You're at 180. Now she can go sell the house and keep all the money and don't have to pay it back for 2 years. So she sell the house for 3 years. So she sell the house for 450. What's the difference between 180 and 450? What is it? Now, factor in your closing costs and the money you owe, you're putting $230,000 in your pocket. So the seller gave you a loan to buy their house.
For free, no interest. No interest.
That's what we call being a transaction engineer. That's why I'm saying you could pay full price for properties that are free and clear and still put $100,000, $200,000 in your pocket. Now, thank you. Give her a big hand. Lesson learned. What you don't want to do with $210,000 in your pocket. Do I really need to tell you? You don't want to go blow it. You don't want to go, well, you may want to take a vacation. But besides that, you got to turn that money over. You're using that money to reinvest in your business because you still have to pay it back. But you could pay full price and still put $200,000 in your pocket. That's being a transaction engineer. That's why I say, don't just worry about doing wholesaling. I teach my people how to be transaction engineers, not wholesaler. So, yes.
How is taxation going to work?
How taxation is going to work on it on the front?
I mean, on the 200,000.
Ask her. She just stepped out. I'm going to tell you. Exactly. Exactly. Now, it was a loan. But don't get worried. Don't get stuck on the minutia here. Get stuck on the fact. Don't worry about paying taxes. Get stuck on the fact you got to pay your taxes, guys. If there's taxes to be paid, you got to pay them. But the key here is make the offer on the phone. If it's free and clear, don't make an offer on the phone. Go to the property. Negotiating 101. You don't ask, you tell. How many of you guys ask a seller, when can I come by to see your property? Be honest. How many of you guys ask that? Okay. You don't ask that. You say, what time works best for you today between 4 and 6? What time works best for you today between 9 and 5? What time works best for you tomorrow? If you base it on the seller's time frame, you may never get that deal on the contract. You got to take control of the negotiation. And you got to tell them what time you're going to come by there to see the property by giving them an option between 4 and 6, 4 and 7, and so on. So you make the appointment there at the property, and then when you get to the property, you put the property under contract after you verify all your numbers. What's the numbers you're verifying at the property? Your repair costs. That's your purpose for going to the property, to verify your repair costs. Now, there's only 3 reasons a property won't sell. The 3 reasons why any house won't sell is the price, the location, and the condition. Those are the only 3 reasons a house won't sell.
So the telephone call where you're giving them the initial offer, what are you basing those numbers off of?
Remember we said the 65% formula. You're using your formula as to say this is my offer. You're using your formula. That was the whole purpose of your formula, to tell them what you're going to offer them. So you go to the property, you prove that the repair cost is close to what you think it's going to be, 40, 50, whatever it is, and then you put the property under contract. Once you put the property under contract, it doesn't end there. Now you have the property under contract, you got to make a decision. Do I take that property to the title company right away, or do I wait 10 to 14 days to take the property? And here's the argument for both. If you take it to the title company right away, they're going to start the actual lien search and all that stuff, and it's going to cost you anywhere from $350 to $500 for that lien search and stuff to take place. Am I right or wrong? So that's what happens if you take it right away. But keep this in mind, guys. Any good deal, you can wait 10 days to take it to title company, because you should be able to find a buyer in 10 to 14 days or less. I'm going to tell you that right now. You should be able to find a buyer on a good deal 10 to 14 to 10 days or less. So you got to make a decision. Do I want to take a chance of incurring that cost? Am I confident on this deal? Do I take it to the title company and deal with that cost? Or do I hold it and try to find my buyer and then take it to the title company? On your contract, on average, you're looking between 30 to 45 banking days. That adds up to, thank you, that adds up to a 2-month closing, yes.
I will say on the title end, especially if you get a cash buyer,
Right.
to rush the deal for you. So I personally prefer getting both contracts.
Right.
I don't want you to worry about like us fronting that 500 or anything like that. And we can rush order it and get you closed. You know, once we get the buyer contract closed within 5 to 7 business days, we're doing a cash deal. So,
Right. Now, what I was referring to is the investor who got a bad deal and him not incurring that cost because he put a bad deal on the contract. That's what I was talking about. But you're absolutely right. The one we closed on Wednesday, we had a closing in 10 days. 10 days. From the time we actually took it to the title company to the time we got the closing. We went to closing. So, this business, oh, I love this business. Putting the property under contract should not be a big worry with you. Why? Because if you use the paperwork I'm going to give you, it says in the paperwork, if I don't go through closing, what the remedy that the seller gets is my earnest money deposit. Ask me how much did I put on my earnest money deposit on the property that I sold on Shaw Grove and we made $11,000 on. Ask me how much my earnest money deposit was. $10. $10. My earnest money deposit was $10. My profit was $11,000. $10. At the most, when we're dealing with homeowners, at the most we're putting $100 down as an earnest money deposit when we're dealing with homeowners. I got a property right now in Illinois. The purchase price, and I'm guessing off the top of my head, is, I think it's about $2.8 million. I put $100 on the earnest money deposit. Commercial property, 130 units. Now I'm wholesaling it. $100. It's how you negotiate and structure the deal where the person feels comfortable and you knowing what you do. It's not about the dollar amount. It's about the rapport. That's what it's about, building rapport. Yes.
You said that you make the offer on the property.
Yes.
And then when you get to the property, you make a determination about it to go forward with that.
Correct.
Okay, so if the person gave you bonus information about the experience that you did,
I can say I'm not going to go with it when I get to the house. Because I just said, if I go to the house, I'm going to the house to prove that the information is right. If I prove that the information is wrong, it's no offer. It was just a verbal offer. It wasn't nothing written down. Great question. And what Cliff just mentioned, that's your opportunity to renegotiate the deal now. Oh, you said it didn't need any work. I kid you not. I had a person who told me the house didn't need any work at all. And every floor was painted. Now, Baltimore landlords are famous for painting floors. Every floor was painted. The kitchen cabinets, it was those steel rickety cabinets, and you have in the kitchen that nobody uses anymore. The refrigerator was in the bathroom. But guess what? I sold it and made $11,000. That was my Child Grove property. Okay. The key is knowing your market, knowing your numbers, and so on. Now, once you got the property under contract, you deliver it to the title company. If you know you got a good deal, you may want to hold it, or you may want to deliver it and don't worry about the fee that's going to come with it. Once you deliver it to the title company, the next step in your process is you got to market for a buyer. The saying is, if you got a good deal, a buyer will show itself. And that's true. If you got a good deal, the buyer will show itself, provided you have a good enough buyer list to send it to. That's why people joint venture with other investors who have buyer lists. I know one young lady that all she did was put properties under contract and uses other people's buyers list to sell them. She didn't have a buyer list, and she had no problem with splitting the profits. That's all she did. So, how do you get a good buyer's list? Meetup groups, Facebook groups, MD Land Records, MD Land Rec. MD Land Rec is a website that allows you to see the deed of properties and to look at the actual properties themselves on the deed, how they were closed, and what money was used to close them. On MD Land Records, you can use or you can search for properties that was closed using IRA money, 401ks, and so on. Just by putting in the name of the company, equity trusts, and so on, you can find deals that was closed with people who use their IRA, which in most cases they're what? They're investors. Also, directory websites like Craigslist, Twilio, and so on. Properties that are for rented, properties that's rehabbed that for sale. You can go to these different sites, and on these different sites, you have buyers, individuals who rehab the house and looking to sell. Individuals who rented a house or have a rental and they're looking to sell. They're buyers. Reach out to them and see if they're looking for any more new opportunities. At auctions, you got a whole auction full of cash buyers that goes to auctions. One of my strategies early on was to look through the actual papers, the daily records, and look at when auctions was going on in different properties, and then go through these different auctions and reach out to the buyers to get them on my buyers list. You can also get your agent, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, can't you get an agent to pull properties that were sold with cash money? I'm sorry, purchased with cash money, not sold. purchased with cash money. Chances are these people use a hard money lender or they use cash. They are buyers, investors. So that agent can pull that list for you and your targeted zip codes of buyers. Last but not least, the neighborhoods that you're interested in. Drive the neighborhood, see who's doing rehabs. Reach out to those actual people who are doing rehabs and see if they're interested in buying any new properties. Finding buyers ain't hard. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, when he's talking about SDAT, that's the state real property search database. You can actually pull up a whole block, a whole street in SDAT and find all the different corporations, businesses. And then you do a corporate search on those businesses to find the owners. Great suggestion. Thank you for sharing that.